We're all awake, that's great. We're gonna kick things off by putting your attention to the screen, and we're gonna show you a video from Gracie's Corner.
Gracie's Corner. There's so many features that make each of us special and unique. One of my favorite things is my hair.
And now I'm really happy and honored to welcome onto stage the family behind Gracie's Corner and the moderator for today's Q&A, Brooke.
For you? Yes. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us. Very excited. We've got the crew here. Everyone knows Grayson. Oh, apologies, my wife's pregnant, so we'll... In a second. I'm actually going to turn it to you guys a little bit. All right, so we have Grayson here in the middle, our star. Very excited to have everyone here. Arlene, mom at the end. And then we've got Jay, divorce, also here as well. So the group is joining us today. We're excited to talk about the entertainment industry, obviously, the tremendous success that Gracie's Corner has experienced, how we've gotten here. These three are highly accomplished, Grayson already at such a young age, which is very exciting. I'm moderating today largely because I work in the preschool toys industry, and I am lucky enough to get to meet content creators, what is exciting about Gracie's Corner is that we are translating some of this into actual product for consumers. So think about toys, plush, educational play patterns. So that's the ultimate dream for a lot of content creators, and you guys have been so successful. So excited to share some of those learnings with the group today. We're gonna kick it off though with like, how did we get here? So would love to talk to you guys about the journey. I know it's been fast. We started in 2020, so take us back to how this all started. And really we would just love to hear how you've gotten here and what was the inspiration for Gracie's Corner.
I guess I can start. It really started in, like you said, around June 2020. At that time, I was a chemistry professor. I don't know anybody take organic chemistry. Most people hate it. But that's what I was teaching, organic chemistry at the University of St. Thomas. But once the pandemic hit, everyone had to work from home, and my kids were doing school from home. And I hate to say it, but sometimes YouTube was kind of like that extra babysitter that we could use from time to time. But while watching a lot of the content that my kids were watching, it was like, oh man, there seems to be a lack of representation as far as like children of color. Sometimes you may see it in kind of that little sidekick character or whatever, but we really want to make sure that children of color are brought to the forefront, because I feel like every child deserves to feel special and feel seen, and we created Gracies Corner, and that was our answer.
Yeah. Fantastic. Music plays such an important element in the content. Talk a little bit about, so you recognized the opportunity, early for your children and wanted to expand that. How did you decide, where to go? There's so many different educational components in the content. Why was music important? How does that translate? Would love to know more there.
The music side, so just to give you more background, I know I said I was a chemistry professor, but before that I was a band geek. I played the drums and keyboard growing up in church, and that's where the musical side comes from. But when it comes to the content itself, I watch so much, ranging from Cocomelon to you name it. But me being a musician, sometimes when I listen to it with a critical ear, and I'm like, oh man. I'm sure some of you parents probably have listened to some of those things over and over. You kind of like, oh. So I was like, okay, let's do something different. Let's make it fresh. Let's make it fun. Let's make it something that parents would even listen to. And that's when we started pulling in all these cool genres, ranging from the Afro beats to the hip hop to the second line to the go-go music, like all these cool genres. But we're tying it in an educational way where kids can learn.
Yeah, very, very catchy. A lot of really good beats. Arlene, when you think about very early on, what were some of the challenges that you guys faced getting started? Obviously, your background's very educational. How did you make the transition, one from a business standpoint, but then also just as a family? What were some of the challenges that you guys faced?
I think initially, starting June 2020, definitely. This is Gracie's Corner right here, this trio right here. And so a lot of people will see what the brand has grown into and think it's a big production company, but it's us and a team of animators. I say team of animators, it just became a team of animators. Initially it was just one animator we were working with, and as we've expanded, we've actually built an animation studio with animators, but the challenge initially was researching how to get the animation, researching how to master music, and getting the best machines, getting the best microphone, and we do everything still today in our home, and we travel, we have like this sound box that she only does recording like once or twice a week. Some people are like, is she doing this a lot? No, she's very much. She's like you're a normal child and get to play and have fun. Yeah, so she's. I'll let her talk, but it's one of those things where I think the transition part was doing research, figuring out. I think that's kind of where we can say our education really did work for us, because we learned like, okay, you want to get to some goal, research how to get there. Another thing that definitely was a challenge initially is, these animations that we were doing in the very beginning and still now, they're not free. And so we had over a year where we were using our money to pay for animations, pay for music. And so it took some time, and I want to say when we finally did get a return, was our first check like $19 or something like that? Yeah, and so it takes time, it takes patience, and you know, for her early on, I think when the concept first came up, she wanted a YouTube channel. Tell them about the YouTube channel you wanted.
Well, at first I wanted one of those toy channels where you're on there like almost all the time and you're unboxing things and like showing the fans, letting them observe what it is. But my parents, when I told them that I wanted one of those things, they're like, well, you gotta think about your privacy first.
Yeah. And that was
very smart parents.
And that was a challenge because we knew she wanted it, and this was a good, in our mind, I mean, of course now people know who she is, but it's because she wants them to, and there's still degrees of her privacy, you know, people aren't seeing our not a knock against people who want to let people see their everyday life, that's fine. But, you know, for us, we just felt like, okay, this is a good compromise. And I knew early on she loved to sing. And so it just happened to work. But challenges would be like, you know, of course, money to pay for animations. You know, we're family working, but we're a family of 5, you know. And so it's not like we had tons of cash laying around to pay for animations and music. But it was something we stuck with. We made sacrifices. And now it's amazing to truly see what this has grown into.
Yeah. A year is a long time to sit in that type of, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Probably some young creators here today, hopefully. What were some of the indicators that you were going to potentially even see success, right? Because nothing is guaranteed or given. But what were some of the things that I guess motivated you? I know I'd love to talk about, obviously, representation across platforms matter. I'd love to hear from you, why does this matter so much? And I'm guessing that's a big part of the motivation. But what kept you going? A year is a long time to be in that grind.
Yeah, that felt like eternity. Like, the reason it felt so long to me, just being honest, is I remember, and she would see the money coming from the account, like, oh God, he's buying another cartoon. And it's only going one way. Like, keep in mind, we got 3 kids. So it's like, okay, this guy's spending money, and there's nothing, like, it was kind of pitiful, but it was something I believed in. I don't know, something just told me, like, just continue to create, continue to make a son and daughter, continue, because I saw the bigger picture. I knew that this content was needed, and it got to a point where other parents started to see it, and I think just by word of mouth, we've just been growing organically. So to see it all take place has been surreal for me.
The fans are a big part of it, and I'd love, you know, very few people have the fan base that you guys have. I'd love to hear from you what the fans have meant, and just elaborate on, how they fuel you to keep going, and maybe if there's any stories there of experience. I'm sure you have incredible ones, but maybe there's one you could share with the group on just what the fan base has meant to you.
Everything. Like, our supporters are why we do what we do day in, day out. We get emails, messages that, you know, tell us how much what we do has helped their children. We get to see all the dance parties and families spending time together. But I want to say, like, some of the most touching emails are parents that will say, my child's nonverbal, and I don't know what it is about your content, probably repetition and a lot of stuff, but you've taught my child so much, and my child's learning to say a lot of words now because of Gracies. Like, those are the kind of things that remind us of why we do what we do, you know? And so, you know, our supporters are everything. And like I said, he said it best, like, it's been organic growth. Like, we haven't put any money behind advertising Gracie's Corner. It really is just people see the content, it resonates with them, and they spread the word. And then social media too. Oh my goodness, technology, social media. powerful, allows really people that weren't seen before, products that weren't seen before, to actually be seen.
Oh, that's great. Grayson, what's it like to have little kids recognize you, surely look up to you in a lot of ways? What has that been like?
So it's been very exciting, because when I see those kids come up to me, they have smiles on their face and they're always saying, "I love your YouTube channels. They're so unique and they're actually very educational."
That's awesome. So few kids have that experience, so really incredible. I wanted to back up because we went over something quickly that is truly incredible that I just learned about this morning. The family is just traveling back from Nigeria. Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned the animators. Can you talk a little bit about, it's a cool story, how it started, what's happening in Nigeria, and really what it's grown into and what Gracie's Corner has been able to provide for a small group of people across the globe.
So he told y'all, organic chemist, trained PhD organic chemistry, researches everything. He has an MBA too, researches everything. And a lot of people don't know, like I said, you have an end goal and research, and that can help you get there. So end goal was, he knew what he wanted, we knew what we wanted. And so we went to platforms that allow you to find freelancers or people that do third-party work. And there's a lot of them, like Upwork, Fiverr. So doing research, we looked at a bunch of animators that were on there, and we're looking at their work and paid for some samples. And the animator that we started with is still he's actually our head animator. So what happened was, one animator in Nigeria that we just started using third-party work, of course, contractor, was making the animations. And what happened was, as we started growing, we saw that we needed to, of course, make more videos. And we decided to ask this animator, what do you think about becoming our head animator and helping us form a team? And it didn't hurt to ask. Like, this person had been with us from the very beginning, and we felt like this person was, his name's Victor. We felt like Victor was the best person to kind of continue growing with us. And so, come to find out, he was like, wow, that's a great idea, because unfortunately, I think when you do work on these platforms, freelance work, they take a big cut of it. And so this opportunity was an opportunity that allowed him to kind of go into work where he was being paid in a way that he was deserving of. And so he became the head animator. We asked him to hire artists or whatever was needed to build an animation studio. We were the ones that leased the office in Nigeria, bought all the equipment, bought all the software. And so animation studio was built, and I think about 6 months ago, right? And so we had a chance to visit the studio for the first time last week. We'd seen videos of it, all this, we knew that, trusted animator, we knew he was a good person, we knew that from videos what it looked like. And so it was awesome to actually be able to go to Nigeria, Abuja, and to meet the people who we work with every day to help all this come, to fruition. And so, right now, we work with them closely. There's a time difference, but they're at work right now. And we got to really get to know each of the artists and the animators individually. There's a lot of them that are interning, and they have dreams of animating or being artists for Disney. And this is a good stepping stone, but it was just so awesome to form this studio. And so who would have thought this thing we started, and initially, the crazy thing, initially we first started recording in a closet. Then it became a bedroom. But who would have thought this thing we started in a closet would have become a full-blown animation studio? So it's just, you know, an awesome testament to research, hard work, and just sticking with it, even when you don't have those results. And those results may not be guaranteed.
Yeah, the perseverance is very impressive. I think very few people probably have the confidence to do what you guys have done. So very, very impressive. We're seeing a lot of trends in parenting shift. You know, education, so incredibly important. Historically, gross motor, if you think about the basic ABC, 1, 2, 3, very important. Parents are shifting into prioritizing social and emotional well-being and health for their children. Your content addresses that as well. How important is that component? You talked a little bit earlier about dance, but how important is that piece in this whole thing? And how do you feel like it differentiates you from maybe some other content out there?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's extremely important. Because one of the things I learned is that, especially during the pandemic, children in general have experienced a high level of anxiety. So my mindset was like, okay, can we help by providing them some tools that they can use to cope? So we wrote the deep breath song. And as far as like the whole technique itself, of course, I got that from the psychologist. But I put it in this melodic, you know, song form. But it's a really cool song because it not only, you know, it's something you can vibe to, but it provides kids like step-by-step instructions like on how to do what's called belly breathing. Again, something I learned from her.
That's why you're a team.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so many important concepts. Licensed psychologist, state of Texas, still practice, but you know, that was one of the important things. It's not only we want kids to see themselves, families to see themselves in Gracie's Corner, but also, you know, the things that we will see parents say they want to see in programming. And so not only is it showing children how to cope, but as a psychologist, I understand the importance of teaching them how to speak positive things over themselves, trying to
The ABC affirmation song.
Yes, affirmations.
It's good. Yeah.
Yes, so like the importance of positive self-talk, the importance of facing your fears, and then so if you listen closely, you'll see there's that flavor of a licensed psychologist that does this, and I'm actually licensed to work with children. I did my training with children, and so really important thing, I think, for us as a team.
What are some tips that you have for families, for kids that are interested in pursuing a creative outlet, whether that be through you know, streaming content like YouTube, or just branching out and doing something that is maybe a little bit riskier in the creative space? What advice would you guys give on some learnings you've had?
I don't know, I feel like in this day and age with all of the advances in technology, like the possibilities are almost limitless. It's so crazy. Like I remember watching another kid play video games. I'm like, but then I found out like there's actually money behind it. Like people make a lot of money playing a video game and having people watch it. And so it's just a matter of finding that thing. And for me, it was that trying to create something that children could watch and learn from and see themselves, because I feel like that representation is so important, because it's like when I look at society, I see this amazing melting pot with all different cultures, different backgrounds, all of, you name it. But sometimes when I watch, you know, TV or anything like that, it's not always reflected the same way. So that's why I feel like, you know, when a child watches, no matter where they're from or their background, they should be able to, you know, see like, oh man, yeah. And that's one of those touching things for me whenever I see those videos where kids like, oh, that looks like me. And I don't know, it's just like, it's really touching because I have kids myself, well, 3, And I feel like all of those type of things, it plays a role on how they view themselves, and then it helps build their self-confidence, because I feel like it helps them realize that they belong, you know. And I feel like everyone wants to feel like they belong, and we're just trying to create that type of I don't know, create that feeling through our content.
Yeah.
But for people who are interested in creating, find that thing that, you know, what drives you, what you're passionate about. The reason I say that is because the same way I had that rough start, you know, if it's something you don't really care about, oh, it's easy to quit. But if it's something that you really believe in, you're gonna persevere. You're gonna be like, okay, I believe in it, so I'm just gonna keep pushing through, regardless of the fact that I'm losing money. But yeah, find that thing. Once you do that and start creating, make sure it's high quality content. I know some people have that passion, but the stuff that they're making it's not quite it. So, but yeah, if you find something that you're passionate about, make high quality content and just continue doing it, everything else just falls in place. Like that audience that you probably want, they will come. I know we started out with just family members. My mom was probably my biggest viewer. Like, remember, like we were getting like 10 or 100 views per month. So to go from that to like now, we're averaging over 140 million views per month. So to have that, it's just, I don't know, it's still unreal.
It's unreal. And for those that are asking, what do you, like a child that's interested in becoming a content creator, I would say for everything that people are passionate about, there's an audience, whether it be, you know, cooking or science projects or painting, all of those things, origami, like there's an audience. And I would say the most important thing is, especially like we started off and we're going to talk about the future of Gracie's Corner, but you know, we started off mainly on YouTube. And with YouTube, if you're a content creator, the algorithm doesn't know you until you post. And the more you upload and post good content, longer content, it starts to like you a lot. And so that's my way of saying, like, if you have something that you're passionate about, you have a child that has an interest, they're good at it, you're like, wow, and they have, you know, a personality where they can really show their interest in a great way, I think they can be successful. They can achieve, you know, the sky's the limit, is what I will say. And so that's the key. Just find what they love, try to nurture it, and just be persistent. And, you know, of course the animations cost money, but I know there's other things you can do that are like a lot of what you see on YouTube right now with the video cameras, and not the animation. Those are actually way, way less expensive than what we do. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can do so much with just your smartphone now. Like I know sometimes people think, oh, I gotta have this Nikon X whatever camera, and they're like, no, dude, you can literally have your phone and vlog or do whatever. And if that audience is there, you got it. But something else I was thinking too is just sticking with it. That's probably the biggest part by far, sticking with it.
You say it so easily, but
yeah.
You guys are great examples of it. You've had some incredible collaborations. You've had some things that have recently been announced as well. Let's talk a little bit about Snoop and Doggyland. How did that come to be? What was that like? I believe we have a clip that we're going to show as well. So we'll cut to that right after you kind of intro it. But talk to us about the collaborations, and I can't imagine what that's like.
So,
There we go. What was Snoop like?
well, we didn't actually meet him in person,
I'm gonna set that up.
but he did send us a little video clip saying how he really loved the collaboration and he wanted to say thank yous to us. But before he did that, we had to go to LA and then go to their studio where they do all their shorts and everything. We went there and well, my hair was messed up because I had my hair straightened and I was crazy and sprayed the water everywhere and it got on and actually went through the cap and my hair wasn't smooth anymore. It
was really cute still. No one would ever know. But I think Snoop's people with Doggy Land reached out to us.
Yeah, well, it's so we have these what's called partner managers, and our partner managers were in contact, and they threw the idea out there, and it was kind of like, man, like I didn't think it was going to be possible. It was like Snoop Dogg, like this is, I'm an '80s baby, so it's kind of like I view him like,
You're like
he's an icon, and it was like he want to do a song with you. So I remember when we had the meeting and we really vibed. Everyone was like it was a good conversation, and like let's do it. And I remember they sent us the track, and she and I did the recording. She can talk a little bit about that too.
So I still had to do it in the box, and we did our part, but we sent it to them, and they did their part. Well, actually, they did their part first, and then we did our part, and then we sent it back. But then we also had to retry it a lot. But this one, it actually turned great.
They're all pretty great. It was fun though. You had fun, and you were proud of the outcome. Good. Do we want to cut to? Do we have the video we can cut to?
Gracie's Corner.
Wow, wow.
Hi, Bow Whistle.
Hey, Gracie, yeah. What do you think is the best part of being a girl?
Everything is the best part.
You are right.
I love being a girl. I love being a girl. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl, because it's our world now. It's our world. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl, because it's our world now. It's our world. There's nothing that a girl can't do. Girls are powerful, this is true. Have fun and we shine like a diamond ring. We're so smart, we can do anything.
Girls can be athletes, dancers and doctors, teachers, scientists, singers and book authors. Girls are the gift to the world, that's evident.
One day soon a girl's gonna be president. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl, because it's our world now. It's our world. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl, because it's our world now. It's our world. Girls can be strong and girls can be delicate. We can dress sporty, we can dress elegant.
To be a good leader, need to be a good follower. You gotta have confidence, gotta empower you.
Before making decisions, we know how to listen.
You wanna move forward, you gotta have vision.
Calling all girls of the world, this is ours. Nothing's gonna stop us. This is girl power. I love being a girl. I love being a girl. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl. I love being a girl. I love being a girl. There's nothing like being a girl. Like being a girl.
How incredible was that? Awesome. That was great. let's talk a little bit about Gracie. How do you make this transition into parenting and parenting managing and really kind of like co-producing and creating with your daughter? What has that been like? I can imagine wildly rewarding. I can imagine there are hard moments. But talk to us a little bit about that dynamic and how that's changed and how you're still focused on a fantastic childhood for Grayson.
Yeah, it's
She was ready to jump in.
yeah. Let the parents jump on this one. Yeah, it's tough. The reason I say it's tough is because I have to wear multiple hats. Like I have to remember, like, hey, at the end of the day, I'm dad. You know, but at the same time, as a creator, especially on the music front, you're almost like this coach. So it's like I'm trying to coach her, but at the same time I have to reel myself in, like, all right, don't go too far, because you guys have probably heard of some amazing artists throughout history who's had those dad managers and stuff, and sometimes those stories don't always end too well. I'm not gonna name names, but I'm sure you can probably think of a few off the top of your head. But I never want to be that person, so I'm always trying to focus on, are you happy? You know, if you don't have to do this, you know, at any point you can just say, hey, I'm done with this. So, and I don't know, that day might come right around the corner, I don't know, but right now she's extremely happy, and that's her main thing.
Yeah, I think for us, you know, family, Gracies Corner is a family. I said that in the very beginning, like we're still the core, it's just us. And that's the most important thing to us. At the end of the day, she's a child. And so we want to make sure she's a child. What that means is we limit recording days to 2 days per week. When she does record, usually it's pretty quick. How long would you say it takes to record a song?
It either might take 2 hours. Well, it actually depends on how we do it. But we've had our moments like funny or mistake or either just goofy around.
And she gives a lot of input in the recordings, like I don't like this, or I think we should do this. Like, funny, the Twinkle Twinkle song, there are some parts of it where like she hits the high note. That was her idea. And the Hokey Pokey song where she goes, oh, like she'll give so much input. And so she's a part of that creative process. But end of the day, she's a child. And so, you know, every decision from schooling to, you know, she wants to be in public school. You know, she doesn't want to be homeschooled. And, you know, people from the entertainment industry have told me, well, that's going to be hard for her. How is she going to do that? My words to them as a mother, we're going to figure it out. Because at the end of the day, I want her to be happy. If that's what she wants, that's what she wants. We're going to figure it out. You know, but, and as Jay said, you know, at any point, it's an animation. What that means, a lot of animated series that have been around for a long time, like your Peppa Pigs, the person who does the animation has changed many times over. And so that's the beauty of the animation is, you know, at any point she can say, well, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I want to go be a chemist like that and do mad scientific experiments. That can happen, you know, and you have the ability to find someone else to do the voiceover, you know, but right now while she wants to do it, she can do it. At any point if she says, I don't want to do it anymore, okay, that's something that we'll make sure we transition her out of that role, you know, and so child first, family first is what's important to us. And you're right, it's difficult because she's not, I mean, even though we really do strive for her to feel like a child, like an average child, she's not, because, you know, children aren't having to go and record 2 times a week. They're not having to take voice lessons necessarily. They're not having to work with an artist developer, you know, but these are things she wants. And as I've said, at any point, You ever say you don't want it? You don't have to, because at the end of the day, and I think it's just us psychologists, I just want her to be happy. That's the main goal in life, is that my children are happy.
Beautifully put. I want to talk about what's next for the brand, but before that, I'd love to talk about, I have to imagine a big reason why the content has been so successful is because of the authenticity, and the messaging obviously is much needed. From an authenticity standpoint, how do you protect that go forward? How are you thinking about your partnerships? It's something that in the retail realm, and we've talked a lot about what does product potentially look like for Gracie's Corner. It needs to be authentic. So how do you think about that as you're managing the brand, and then how does that translate to the partners that you work with as well?
Yeah, we definitely want to maintain that authentic feel through our content, and we're working with UTA, and these guys are helping us identify that ideal partner. They kind of know the whole gist as far as we really want to stay true to what we established, because we've had many conversations with a lot of potential partners, but usually that first conversation, I can kind of tell which direction things are going. Like, yeah, that's cool what you guys are doing, but maybe Gracie should have XYZ friends, and instead of, those little things, I'm instantly turned off. It's everything that we've done is very intentional, and the partner that we bring on with us, we want to make sure that they understand that vision and just help us amplify it. That's pretty much one thing we want to do at this point.
So Gracie's Corner, what's next? What are you working on now? What are you excited about? Where do you see this in 5 years? Gracie, you want to start? Yeah, there we go.
We're already going to California right after this for summer break. I think technically just for the summer, just for fun and everything.
That's all her mind is on right now.
I love it. It's
She's a
appropriate.
kid, right? She wants to go.
But I still have to do some work since I don't want to forget my brains.
Yeah, she's gonna be in tutoring in the summer, just to keep the knowledge fresh. So that's what she's talking. She complained about that. She's like, I want to do tutoring during the summer. Why do I have to? I was like, baby, because it's good. When you take breaks, sometimes your brain can take a break, and you want to be fresh. You want to keep all those things you learned.
Normal kid stuff. Yeah, that's classic.
So that's what she's talking about. Like, she's not happy about having to do some tutoring.
Yeah,
So.
as far as the brand itself goes, we're trying to get to the point where we create that long form version of Gracie's Corner, where you can learn more about the parents, the family in general, and then we're also working on a live action, and that's something that people have been requesting big time, and we hear you, and we're working on that, and also trying to bring in products. So it's a lot of cool things that's currently in the works. What I've learned through this process is that it really does take patience. And it's all for the good too, because as you're continuing to build your brand, it's only going to help once XYZ gets released. But yeah, it's just a game of patience and perseverance, and yeah, we're excited.
Two more questions, and I think we're going to open it up. So if you guys want to start thinking about anything on your mind that you'd love to ask the family, I'll give you a couple minutes to do so. First, anything that we didn't cover that you think this is a nugget that I want the group to walk away from, especially for those, Gracie, maybe it's for the creatives in the audience that you want to leave a message of inspiration, or maybe there's something that you think might be inspiring there?
Well, did you guys want an inspirational speech?
Yes! Look for people. We all need inspired right now.
Go.
So I just want to say that even if you
That is definitely a future creator. I love it, Blake.
Even if your parents say notice something and they feel that's not right, you can just say like, like they might like you know how when your kids come up to you and they're like, I want to do this, and then your parents are like, wait, let's think about this for a moment, and then the kid's like, no, negotiation time. But I just want to say that you guys can be inspirational your own way by doing your own thing. Like, what if your parents say, no, you shouldn't do the electric guitar, you should do the flute. And most times you might not want to do that, and you might want to do your own thing. So I say be creative and try to do something while doing the other thing. Like, you can probably do both of the same things, and it will still be good.
Well put. I hear you're performing tomorrow. Is this the second? It's going to be the second time? Yes. What can the people expect?
You might expect lots of treats there. So go out and get yourself some nice food. You can also go enjoy the concert as well. So mine will be like hip hop, educational, as you guys all know, and I think that's planned very well. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Awesome. Come on out. Okay. I think we have. Are we good on time? You guys, we good? Want to open it up? Does anyone have any
like personal questions you want to ask?
Yes, I actually have a twofold question. So you talked a bit about your creative process. Oh, by the way, big fan. My daughter's first few words was Gracies, so love you guys. Love you so much. But I would love to hear about your creative process, because you talked about how the algorithm rewards being consistent and having good content, and you're so consistent and it's quality every time. So I would love to hear about what that process looks like. And you also touched on building a team, so I would just like to hear, what did that vetting process look like for you? What did you envision you wanted your team to look like? And what did that timeline look like for you on building out the animators, touching base with the continent, building the team that makes connections with celebrities, even Big Frida, the recent release. So just want to hear more about that. And thank you.
Sorry.
Well, it's so the from beginning to the end. I don't know. Like I usually come up with these weird concepts in my head, and somehow so I had to do some research on as far as like how to write the scripts and all that fun stuff. But everything as far as like the visuals and whatnot, it's all built from the song. So I start with the song itself. And what I've done now is I have a team of producers that I work with as far as like the beats and stuff that you guys hear. Once I get the beat, then I just write the lyrics and song depending on what the topic is that we're going to discuss. Then I bring in the star and we record at the house, and once she does her recording, we then do the mixing and mastering as far as like making sure that the vocals and the music and everything is in sync. And then from there, I write the script, and I then part with my wife to make sure that everything is kind of like
The boss. Yeah,
yeah.
It's like Shark Tank when we come to these things. So my dad, he's the one that's like, let's pick this theme or option, and we go downstairs. We ask her, which one do you think is great? Like, what do you think is great? Like, what percent do you think you should give us?
Yeah, they make me sound like. I guess, yeah, I mean, it's a family effort, and so we will sit and we'll have like a running list of topics we hope to cover, we plan to cover, but then we also will go through and read what our supporters are requesting. And so a lot of times someone will say, oh, we want a bad song, and I'll do like, honey, they want a bad song. He'll say, okay. And so,
She's the one. All right, so and this is all the creators out there. As a creator, I try to stay away from the comment section.
Yes.
Because the reason I say that is because when you're in the comment section, you see a lot of stuff. And the thing is, some stuff is constructive, and then there's some stuff that's just like full-blown toxic. And if you let that toxic stuff get into your mind, then you start questioning your decisions, and you know, it ruins the whole thing. So I try to stay away from it. But she's in the comment section, and she'll come back to me and say like, oh yeah, you know, parents want to hear a bath song or a song about being respectful to others, and then I take it and kind of build it off from there. So from start to finish too, though, get the beat and then writing the song, it doesn't take me too long to do that part. And then we record like within 2 to 3 hours.
he's a musical genius. He doesn't want to tell y'all.
I would never
But
call
I
myself.
seriously, no, he really is. So he will, and I bought him like a beat machine. So hopefully at some point he'll be able to really start creating more beats on his own. But he's a person, he'll hear a beat, he'll listen to it, and then he'll he'll write it and decide what he wants to, like all of it is him. Every single one. And to me, it's fascinating to see how he'll take these different genres and make, like, I didn't know who I married until this. I was like, wow, okay. Just imagine, like, you have someone who's a chemistry professor, and all of a sudden he's like, I want to do this, and you're like, okay, sure. And then that first song, our first song was the Row Your Boat song. And I was like, okay, that's good. But then song after song, I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, he's truly, I just knew him as a person who, you can play him any song right now, give him a piano, he'll play it. So he has perfect pitch, he knows how to play any song by ear. And so I knew that about him, but I didn't know he's a musical genius. So he's a musical genius, like for real.
This might be building for Father's Day this week.
I think that's what it is.
Is that what it is?
This is an early Father's Day.
I love it though.
Musical genius. But yeah, from beginning to, I guess the end, probably like a song, video, about 10 days, you think?
As far as like yeah, I guess so, yeah. So that's pretty much the turnaround time for most of them.
A song is created in like 2 days though. Like they'll go in, and I think they've been working together for so long that they know each other, and they'll go in and knock it right out in like 2 hours. And then, yeah, it's just a quick turnaround. So the time to create a song, maybe like 2 days. And then the animation takes maybe like sometimes 4 to 10 days, depending on what's going on. So
It wasn't always like that. She, just being completely open with you guys, since we're a family now, she's giving a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback, like, I don't like this part, you know, I think we should do it this way. And I'm like, sweetie, trust me, like, do it this way. But there's been some times we'll compromise and we'll do it her way. Because I never want her to feel like she doesn't have a voice. And she's actually done some really cool stuff too. I mean,
I wanted to add something. I wanted to say happy Father's Day to anyone that has fathers. But also I wanted to add something else to what he said. I wanted to say that just if you really want to be on the internet, you can be on the internet. But if you feel most comfortable, you can like have privacy But also, like, you should probably turn off those comments because it could lead to suicide probably. And we don't want to talk about that, you know? We don't want to talk about
the comments are hard to read, to be honest. And he'll tell me don't read them. But just to make sure we answer your question, it was a lot of research. You have someone who is musically talented that knows. I wouldn't know to mix and master anything. I would just go record something and it probably wouldn't sound like this finished product, you know? And so it's a process where you have a concept, you're also listening to your supporters to see what they want. You stick to your core values, which is nursery rhymes and learning. That's what we do. And, you know, our animation team, a lot of research and looking at portfolios to see what we felt fit with what we were going for. Very beginning phase, we sent a picture of Grayson to the animator, and the character is literally based off of her, off of a picture of her. With regards to like how we handle things growing, I mean, we've grown substantially. Like it feels surreal still. Literally March of last year is when things just started taking off. It was like a wildfire spreading everywhere. And we're like, oh my goodness. That's how quick growth can happen. And so with regards to what we look for when we're building our team, people who are gonna hold true to our values. You heard us say, like, you know, families at the core, but remaining authentic to the vision of making sure we've created something where children can see themselves, and it's educational, it's fun, that's the most important thing for us.
On behalf,
Yeah, I was gonna say that the vetting phase is definitely tough in my opinion, just because I have a clear picture of what I'm looking for, but it's like trying to find that person that match what I'm looking for. So I remember going through like tons and tons of profiles, like trying to find that right one. And then, you know, don't feel like you're married to a specific person or thing that you find. Like if you try them out and you're like, you know, actually this wasn't like, it didn't turn out like what I thought it was gonna be. You know, it's okay to say no. I learned that from one of our agents, Ty. Yeah, just tell them no and then, you know, find someone else. Because once you have those pieces in place, it makes everything else so much easier.
Can I get permission? Please. So I don't want to sound like a chatterbox, please. But we're actually collaborating with Lele soon on a summer song.
Ooh, very excited. She looks like she wants to say more.
No, she's looking at me like.
Heard it here first. Fantastic. Okay. On behalf of the Bentonville Film Festival, I want to thank all three of you for your time and being here. Very excited about the performance tomorrow. Would encourage and ask, and hopefully everyone can come out and join. Can you guys join me in welcoming, appreciating these three for their time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. And then we'll be, the group will be around for a little bit afterwards if anyone wants to come say hi. Show their love and appreciation, but it was fantastic to be with you three today. Thank you, everyone.